Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to be talking about water polo and the basic fundamentals of what materials you need and how to play and things like that. Before I get into that, let me just explain. I played water polo for 10 years and I played in high school for my high school team. We were repeatedly top 10 in the state. We were second in state my junior and senior year, so I have a lot of background in it. The one important thing that I wanted to mention just before we get started is the Olympic history of it. In March of 2015, the International Olympic Committee created this document on their website to kind of explain the history of when they added the sport to their program. It was actually added in the year 1900, but it wasn't until 2000 that women's teams were added, so I just thought that that was interesting. So to begin, I wanted to talk about the materials of the game. Players wear very tight suits, which is actually on purpose. The players will get their straps pulled on, so that's why there's a zipper, and it goes very high in the back. And boys have a string here to tighten the suit as much as they can. The balls themselves are different sizes for women and men, and they both have grip, so that's why it's not slippery in the pool. And they also are in between the weight of a volleyball and a basketball. The caps that are used have the players' numbers on them because players often look the same in the pool, and they are the only protection that players have for their ears, so that protects their head. If they get hit by the ball, their eardrum isn't ruptured. So to start off explaining the game itself, I just want to go over what the pool looks like. The usawaterpolo.org kind of explains the 2-meter line and the 5-meter line and the dimensions of the pool. The dimensions are about 25 yards by 20 yards, which also transfers to meters, and that's different for Olympic pools as well. The 2-meter line is very similar to offsides in soccer, so if someone is within that zone when they receive a ball and they score off of it, their goal will not count and the ball will be turned over to the other team. A 5-meter line is used for penalty shots, which I'll get to later. The players themselves have titles, so the wings tend to be passers, the flats tend to be drivers, and so they drive towards the goal and score. The 6 is a super important player. A lot of teams depend on their 6 or their whole set or center, there's plenty of names, to score most of the goals because they're right in front of it, so they tend to be the biggest player and the most aggressive. They do a lot of wrestling. The 3 defends that player, and they're also the ones that kind of lead the plays. To start on the way the game works, I just want to talk about how there's 4 periods, 4 quarters, and there's 3 minutes in between, a 5-minute halftime, and at the start of every quarter, this is how the pool will look. So 6 players on either side of the goal, a goalie in the middle, so 7 players total. The referee will blow a whistle to start the quarter. The players will push off the wall. These 2 players tend to be the fastest on the team, and they will race to get the ball, which the referee drops in at the beginning. Some important things to mention are there are shot clocks, which just kind of makes the game faster in itself, and that egg beating is the treading technique, which makes it easier for players to tread. So referees, like I said, are outside of the water. This is important because they can see what's going on in the water. So they can see when kicking is happening, when pulling is happening, and when players are touching the bottom, which is illegal. If you have possession of the ball, you cannot be on the bottom. Most pools are all deep anyway. Goalies are allowed to use both of their hands when touching the ball. All other players must only touch the ball with one hand. Another important rule is that you cannot push the ball underwater to protect it. That's also going to result in a turnover. These are the types of fouls that are explained on the IHSA website, or the Illinois High School Association, which is the website I would go to kind of learn more. And it has a guide that's kind of a cheat sheet for spectators, so I really wanted to talk about this because there are whistles all the time in water polo, and so this kind of explains why. The first type of foul that IHSA talks about is the ordinary foul. There's no limit to how many ordinary fouls a player can get in a game. It really is just you preventing the offensive player from being able to touch the ball and things like that. That just results in a free pass. The second type of foul is the exclusion type, so that results in getting kicked out for 20 seconds. If you get 3 of those, then you're ejected from the game. That is from either kicking, pulling on their suit or on the player, things like that.
So before I get into
the last type of foul is a penalty foul. So this results from someone preventing a player from scoring a goal by either grabbing their hand or their wrist or their arm, and so that's when it's a free goal is taken from the 5 meter, like a penalty kick in soccer. So I hope learning about these fundamental ideas and rules and concepts and materials will help you guys as spectators or maybe future players.